When did you start teaching yoga?
I started teaching yoga in 2002, and that was after a really long career in the fitness industry. So I kind of started moving people around in 1984, and then I finally switched to yoga 2002. Thank God for that. So
1984, so you were there during Lycra?
Jane Fonda, baby. Let's not talk about those
And the
Lycra.
Australian equivalent, what's her name again? Olivia Newton-John.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Let's get physical.
Yeah. It was all that. It's all about the Lycra and the leg warmers, and
Wonderful.
And nothing made sense on paper. And then exercise science sort of evolved, and then everything started making sense to me. They started teaching us teaching skills as well as the exercise science, and that's when it all started to make sense for me as a teacher.
Okay.
And then, fast forward years down the track, somebody suggested I do yoga. I was like, yoga? Ugh. And here I am.
Great.
I ran into a fitness colleague of mine, and she had a yoga business on the North Shore of Sydney. And we ran into each other at a fitness convention, and I was presenting a yoga session. And we ran into each other and it's like, hi, what are you doing? And she said, oh, I'm trying to sell my yoga business. What are you doing? I said, oh, I'm wanting to buy a yoga business, and the rest is history. So I ended up buying her database, really, which was the basis of her business from her back in 2005.
And that was Yoga Bowls?
That's Yoga Bowl. It wasn't called Yoga Bowl back then.
Yep.
So I renamed it and I rebranded it.
Okay.
And I basically bought her database from her.
Wonderful. And how much did you pay?
$10,000.
And how many did you get on the database? Do you recall?
Ooh, good question. Maybe 400 or 500, maybe. Yeah.
And these were all students that were coming back regularly?
Pretty regular, and also just the business that I bought from her. It's very community based in the north side of Sydney. So it was, and it really was a community. That one of the pleasant surprises I got when I came into that business was how community minded they were.
Okay.
Like the sort of guys that would like to go out for dinner every other Thursday night after class and things like that.
Did you go out as well?
A couple of times. We had a few social things, but it was a really nice way. And they really welcomed me into the community, which I found really lovely. Yeah, it helped the transition.
Okay.
Because I wasn't her and my teaching style wasn't her, I got a lot of, oh, but you're not her name. It's like, no, I'm not, but I'm me, and I have a different style, so I did struggle with that. And I mean, just like any situation with yoga students, people went off and moved away and went off and did their other thing, but new people kept coming in all the time, and they still continue to come in, so that's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
And was there any lease involved with that fee?
There's no actual lease, Brooke, but the situation is I rent space in a club, in a community sporting club, and I rent it by the hour.
Okay. And how much do you pay by the hour?
At the moment, on weekdays I pay $35 an hour, and on weekends $50 an hour. And when I first started, it was $10 an hour. So for me, it was a no-brainer. I was like, oh, so cheap. Let's just do this.
Yeah. Great.
But now that the money has gone up and the facilities really haven't changed that much, I still have a mad fantasy of having my own studio, but it's cost prohibitive for me at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how much would you generally make from just teaching Yoga Bowl at the club?
Do you know, I couldn't put a dollar figure on it. It's not because I don't want to disclose. I just, we're talking before about how we're not naturally business owners, so I don't sort of have my profit and loss in the back of my head and have all the different columns in the back of my head. It's kind of just reflective on what's in my bank account from week to week.
Yeah. So could you live off what you make?
It does tick along. Well, put it this way, I'm not that sort of vague and oblivious to it. You look at the numbers, you do the vague. Every time I drive home from a class, for example, I go, oh, I had 20 people in the class, so therefore I made this amount of money, less the rent, so I take home this amount of money. So it was worth doing. Okay. And any class, I'm very strict about any class that isn't making money, take it off.
Okay.
Get rid of it.
And how long do you need to make a loss on a class before you drop it?
Now?
Yeah.
What I know now, after 7 years in this business,
Yeah.
I'd give it a month.
A month?
A month. And that's a generous month.
Yeah.
I know people that go, 1 week, that's it, you're gone.
So if you want the class to continue, you better keep
Come to
turning up.
yoga. We also had another friend who knew someone else who had a corporate gym, and they're still one of my corporate clients today. And they said, my friend wants to teach some corporate yoga, and they sort of went, okay. Yeah, so it's almost always been word of mouth referral to get new corporate clients.
Okay. So how do you more aggressively or assertively grow a corporate business then by word of mouth?
You talk to your current students.
Yeah.
Because that's often how I will get a new corporate client. People say, "Oh, do you do corporate yoga?" And I say, "Yeah. If you like what I do here in the yoga school, I can bring this to your workspace." Really? Oh. It's like I've been putting it in the newsletters for how long now?
It's amazing. You repeat yourself, you repeat yourself, you repeat yourself. People still miss it.
People still miss it. So I'm finding that, keep putting it in newsletters. Maybe just make a newsletter that doesn't talk about anything else other than corporate yoga. Do you want yoga at work? Here's what we do, blah, blah. And if it's not for you, then send it on to someone who it might be for.
Yeah.
So get them to spread the word.
Yeah.
Because if they love you, and most students love their yoga teachers, that's the beauty of it. If they love you, they'll try and get business for you. Yeah.
Great.
So it's all, word of mouth is really powerful.
Wonderful. So you had the corporate business started in about
2002 it started.
Yep. And then it got busier.
It got bigger and bigger. My biggest corporate client, which was one of the major banks, it started again with a student, and she loved what I did. And she had a position within the bank as a supervisor. And she said, "I'm going to get you a space. I'll find you a space in the office, and I'm going to get my team of 3 people. I'm going to make them come to yoga, whether they want to or not, because I know they need it." And I was like, thank you. So anyway, we were in this little filing room next to a toilet that would flush constantly. And people would be coming in and out looking at files. And we'd put our mats down and we'd do yoga. And I would beg them to come back to class each time.
Yeah.
And that program in that bank grew from 3 people once a week to over 200 students.
Wow.
Coming every week to 4 different venues across Australia, which is fantastic.
Not just in Sydney.
There were 3 venues in Sydney, and we went in Perth as well.
Okay.
Yeah, and we were just about to set up in Melbourne when we kind of had the rug put out from underneath us. Then the GFC hit, and then all of the big clients just went scared.
Yeah.
So they decided not to give me any on-site space anymore, and they said they'd still endorse the business.
Yep.
But you need to take your business off-site, which kind of defeats the purpose of corporate yoga in the city. When you have to rent hourly space in the city, it's either cost prohibitive or there's just nowhere to go. So I tried it for about 18 months after that, and the business just went down the gurgler. So I just had to go, okay, this is silly, let it go, let it and let them go as well, which was hard. Yeah, because that was the backbone of my income. So I did what I could to resuscitate, and then I just went, let it go. Yeah.
So let's talk about the good times for a little bit longer.
Yeah, okay. I do remember those times. They were fun.
So this was about 2000 and...
Well, it probably peaked around 2006, 2007.
Yep. Good times.
Oh, yeah. Happy days. Yeah.
But
hard work. It wasn't just like I was sitting around drinking chai latte every day, just going, wow, look at all this cash in my bedroom. Yeah. It was a lot of hard work.
So I'm guessing you didn't fly to actually teach in Perth.
That's funny.
How did you go about organising teachers?
I put it out there. Where did I put it? I might have put it on a Find Yoga notice board or something. Do you know? I can't even remember. I just put it out there. Oh, you know what? Lululemon.
Okay.
Thank God for the Lululemon community. Because they were opening up their store over there, and I used my contact there, and she said, "Oh, I do know a few teachers, try this, and this one."
Yeah.
And I just put it out there saying, "Look, I want to do a corporate class in the city. It's just 1 day, 1 hour a week.
Yeah.
Who's up for it?" And then I met the girl, I read her CV. I've employed many teachers without ever having met them face to face before, without ever having seen them teach before. I check their references. It's like, I can only be in one place at once.
Sure.
So the feedback was good, so I thought, okay, let's go.
Great. So in the scenario that you are employing somebody without having the luxury of time to go and follow them around and do their classes and get to know them thoroughly, what are you looking for?
Ooh. It is a leap of faith. What am I looking for? I'm looking for where they're teaching now, currently. I want to see their teaching experience. If they're fresh out of teacher training school, with all due respect to the content of the teacher trainings, I can't employ someone with no teaching skill. And there's only one way you can get teaching skill, and that's by teaching a lot. And it's important to me because, I've been teaching myself for 29 years, which is just insane. So teaching experience is important. So where they're teaching at the moment, if they're teaching at some bodgy place that no one's ever heard of, I'll kind of go, I'm not sure about that.
Yeah.
But if they're teaching at reputable studios, then they're obviously going to be decent. So I'll always, call up and follow up references and chase them up that way. I'll usually start them as a cover. I won't just put them in, I'll give them the cover, and I'll always ask for feedback from the students.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you'll call the students?
Yeah. I'll email them, I'll ask them.
Yep.
And it's interesting because for years and years, students get so attached to the teacher. And it was my hugest frustration when I was so busy in the business and wanting to teach less and do more of the background business stuff and take myself off the teaching mat. And so I'd put in cover teachers for me. And it was so frustrating because I'd ask them, how was the cover teacher? And they'd say, oh, well, she was really nice, but, she wasn't you. It's like, oh. And you kind of go past the ego and you think, I just want some really good teachers that you love.
Yeah.
And it only kind of just started clicking recently. People started saying, that teacher you said, she was lovely, she was really good. So I feel good about the teachers I've got on staff because I get feedback and I'm really interested in feedback. And the minute I get more than one piece of negative feedback, I'll kind of have a look at it. And that's what I'm looking for. I'm also looking for things like I need them to be organised. I'm ridiculously, pathetically super organised.
Yeah.
And I need them to be kind of the same way. I need you to respond to texts quickly. I need you to respond to emails quickly. I need to understand invoicing and just send an invoice. It's really not that hard. Don't mess up the times. I've sent you 3 confirmation emails. How can you possibly get that time slot wrong? What's wrong with you? I need you to be switched on up here.
Yeah.
I need you to be honest. I need to be able to trust that you're not going to just steal my clients and go off and do privates with them.
So how does that work then if you brought a teacher in to cover a class and then you're paying the teacher and you're getting the money from the corporate, for example, if one of the students decides they'd like a private with the teacher, how does the arrangement work?
The arrangement works, so far as I see as being fair, is the teacher was working for me for my business when she recruited that client, so it still should go through my business. And I'm happy to give her that client, but I need to take some commission off the top. It's like a finder's fee, and I don't have any sort of a problem with that. I do have a big problem if she just thinks it's okay to go and sneak off and do that, because she never would have got that work if it wasn't for my business and me putting her in that position. And if it was me as a freelance teacher, I would expect the same thing. And look, really, she's getting the work. They're getting the work.
Yeah.
So.
And how difficult is it finding clients?
Finding private clients?
Yeah, I mean finding,
finding corporate clients?
Yeah.
It's not easy. It's very seasonal too. As soon as the weather warmed up just the other week, the emails started coming in again. You can tell when corporates are yoga shopping because I'll get the generic email saying, hi, we're looking for a corporate teacher. How much do you charge? How's it work? Blah, blah, blah. And I know that they've sent it out to several. And you just kind of have to hope that what you're pitching and what you're quoting is competitive. And it's kind of hard to say, well, we've done this for so long, you put this in your pitch, we're so experienced, we tailor it all, we've got, templates all ready to go, we make it easy, blah, blah, blah. And I might be charging this much, but I know someone's going to be charging that much as well, so, yeah.
You are invoicing the corporate directly, you're not taking money from the students?
Both, we do both.
Okay.
Sometimes you pay it's an employee pays, which is a user pays system.
Yep.
Which is a lot more admin. It's a lot more admin.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just the employer pays. So we have clients with both scenarios going.
And then you would, I presume, get them to commit up front to 10 sessions?
10's good. Some of them just want 4 or 2, which is an awful lot of admin to go through just for 2 classes.
Barely worth firing up the computer.
Pretty much. And or finding another teacher. It's like, I'll just go and do it myself and take the money, but I don't have time. I can't be every place at once. So you try to sort of say, well, you're not going to get that much benefit from just 2 classes, but I understand that if you just want to give it a try. And also probably worth noting, we offer all of our clients a free trial class, no matter what. Whether you come to my yoga school or whether you want a corporate, we'll come and give you a free class. And that's... You'll get a good idea of what we're doing from the free trial. Yeah.
So in any given week, and I know this is going to be a tricky question, but in any given week, how many hours do you think you'd be devoting to your business? Or do you not want to
think
about it?
Gosh, including teaching time?
Yeah.
Okay, I average teaching about maybe 9, sometimes 10 classes a week myself.
So that would be 9 or 10 hours?
9 or 10 actually hours on the mat, not including driving or getting to the client, as you know. And then when I get home, I don't just kind of sit around and drink lattes. I would say 50, 55 hours a week.
And that would be admin and marketing?
Oh God, yeah, absolutely.
And where do you see the lion's share of your time going in that non-teaching time?
Answering emails, especially when those big corporate clients were up and running. That was such a lot of work. Such a lot of money coming in, but such a lot of work. I would send and receive 90 emails a day, and it was nothing. It was a normal day for me.
Yeah.
So, but now it's kind of a mixture. It's responding to emails, it's looking at what's going on. Sometimes I can't look beyond this week. One of the biggest frustrations is I want to think and act more laterally with business building. I just don't get to it. I really just don't get to it. I'm so busy spinning the wheels of what's going on presently that I don't get the time if I could to move laterally. If I could cut myself into 4 people, one of me would retire, one of me would teach full time, and 2 of me would run the business.
Yeah. So if you could do your time over, and I'm not talking here about your journey in yoga or your ability to teach well. I'm talking more about the business and marketing of yoga. What would you do differently? What would you do to set yourself up for example, annual overseas holidays?
I didn't realise this was going to be a comedy. Okay, in terms of, I hear what you're saying. I think an interesting point that needs to be made is so many yoga business owners are yoga teachers, and that is their first and biggest love is their skill to teach and their love of teaching. And then for whatever reason they find themselves business owners. Yeah. And they're expected to be business owners and know business and to be business savvy. And I fall into that category for sure. And I was a PA at one stage in a previous lifetime. So I'm very organised. So I can sort of organise things and people, but actually running a business, profit and loss stuff, business plans, all that sort of stuff. It's just, to me, it's like, don't want to know, I should know, don't want to know, boring. Can someone else please do that for me? I'd love to have the money to pay someone else to do that stuff for me, but the business, the community, the yoga business isn't that buoyant to afford us that luxury. So in answer to your question, what would I do again? Only just recently there are some really interesting courses coming out by people like you, teaching us how to do marketing, like simple marketing for yoga dummies like us, which is just so invaluable because it's demystifying all this scary stuff that we think, oh, that's too scary, I'm going back to the yoga mat to teach. So simple courses that are directed, and they usually come from people within the community like you, and they've been a godsend. They've been great. So if I had to do my time over, gosh, it's a loaded question. Gee, I don't know if I have an answer for that one, sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah.
So how about one final question before we close?
Yeah.
How about the ability to negotiate? Could you talk a little bit about how important that is in business and what you've learned with your experience?
Yeah. It's often difficult to negotiate. I don't enjoy negotiating myself. I find it a bit intimidating, and I'm usually the one feeling intimidated. And I don't know, maybe it's a woman thing. I don't know. Maybe it was the way I was raised. I don't know. I'm not comfortable negotiating. I will often ask my partner, not my business partner, my partner. Say, oh, I don't know what to say. Can you write the email for me? Because I'm so stuck in the emotion of it. And this is probably worth mentioning. A lot of people working in the yoga community, business owners and teachers, a lot of them are women. Yeah. And as women, I'm going to generalise here, as women we emote so much and we emotionalise so much. And also because I think for a lot of us, yoga is a labour of love. We don't make a lot of money from it, but we do it because we love it. And we put so much heart and soul into it, so much energy into it. And so we take it very personally when things are challenging. And we go, I know I default straight to emotion because I can't believe he said that. I put so much love and I taught this beautiful class and I sent him this fantastic proposal and I spent hours and, you know, and my partner's like, okay, put the emotion on the side, just think like a man if you have to, think like a man, just get to the business of it, okay? And then after that, if you need to collapse into a heap of tears, then you can do it then. But, so negotiation for me isn't my strong point because I emote too much. And also, my brain tends to be thinking in three different other places about the same thing. One of them is always an emotional space, so I tend to sort of miss out where I need to be here when there's negotiation happening. So I'd rather give that off to someone else to do.
Well, Mitch, thank you very much for your time.
It's a pleasure, Brooke. Nice to talk to you.
You too.